This is it, folks. It's the Sunday morning service.
Allahu Akbar.
There we have it. It is the Sunday morning service from the Rogues Tavern, and we are here to entertain you and bring you the Word according to the Bible. And this is not just any Bible. This is a Holy Bible Reference Edition, King James Edition, King James Version, printed in 1972. Given to me by my grandmother in 1973. So it's a well-used Bible. I used it quite a bit in my younger years, and then it sat on itself for many years. So, as usual, every week we start a little bit here at the beginning, and we're reading from the section called Jesus, a Man from All Time. And where did I leave off? I think I left off here. Mary and Joseph were a poor couple in a poor country, Nazareth. The peaceful hamlet where Jesus was raised was and is a lovely place. The town, nestled in a gentle hillside country, surrounded by gardens, fields, vineyards, and groves of fig trees, pomegranates, and date palms. Wildflowers grow in colorful profusion, but the town had a poor reputation. As a caravan stopped over, it was known for its backwardness and coarse living. Joseph's home may have been one in a cluster of little clay houses located a short way up the hill from modern Nazareth, not far south of the Roman military road, and a little north of a caravan route carrying all trade between Damascus and Egypt. Such a house might have had 1 or 2 rooms, perhaps 9 by 12 feet, which served for cooking, eating, sleeping, living, and storage, and another room for Joseph's carpentry shop. Okay, well, we'll leave it there. But where we're going today, we're starting with chapter 8. let's see if we can get more than 1 or 2 chapters into it this morning here. Okay, chapter 8. Book of Genesis, chapter 8, verse 1. And God remembered Noah and every living thing and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters assuaged. The fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained, and the waters returned from off the earth continually. And after the end of the 150 days, the waters were abated. So this is how long Noah was on the ark. It was 150 days. The waters were abated. And the ark rested in the 7th month on the 7th day of the 7th month. And the ark rested in the 7th month on the 17th day of the month upon the mountains of Ararat. Mount Ararat. There we go. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the 1st day of the month, were the tops of the mountains seen. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. And he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. So in other words, this raven just disappeared and went flying. And so he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the earth. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. And then he put forth his hand and took her and pulled her into him into the ark. Okay, so we have a raven that just went off and kept flying and flying. So we have no idea what happened to that poor raven. He just vanished. Maybe a shark jumped up and got him. Think of it. Did Noah keep sharks? No. I guess they just stayed in the water. So after he pulled in the dove, and he stayed yet other several days. And he stayed yet other 7 days. Stayed yet other 7 days. And again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came into him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So everyone talks about it being an olive branch. You always hear the tale of Noah's ark, it's a branch, but here in the Bible it's just a leaf, just one little teeny leaf. That's interesting. Interesting how things can be changed. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. So what's interesting here is, we're talking about a olive tree that had obviously been submerged for 10 months here. And during that time, the branches never went bad, or the leaves never went bad and rotted off. That's, yeah, you ever seen what happens when trees get submerged in water for many months? Everything rots away, except the main tree stump. And he stayed yet another 7 days, and sent forth the dove, which returned not again unto him any more. So the dove disappeared out and found herself a place to roost in a tree, and just didn't come back. He said, yeah, I've had enough of him. And it came to pass in the 601st year, in the 1st month, the 1st day of the month, the waters were dried up from off the earth, and Noah removed the coverings of the ark. And he beheld the face of the ground was dry. So how long had that ship been sitting on dry ground before he finally realized, hey, wait a minute, we're not floating anymore? That's kind of skewed over here. But he was 600 years old. In the 601st year, he was 601 years. At least that's what we think, or was it, new calendar 601? Hard to say. And in the 2nd month of the 7th and 20th day of the month was the earth dried. And God spake unto Noah, saying, Go forth of the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee. Bring forth with thee every living thing that is with thee of all flesh, both of fowl and of cattle, and of every creepy thing that creepeth upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful and multiply upon the earth. And Noah went forth, and his sons and his wife, and his sons' wives with him. Every beast, every creeping thing, every fowl, and whatsoever creepeth upon the earth after their kind went forth out of the ark. And Noah builded an altar. Now here's wonderful English. If you really want to, consider, you hear all the grammar Nazis out there. He builded that thing. No, he built. No, he builded it. Well, right here in the Bible, it says Noah builded. He builded an altar. He didn't built an altar or build an altar. He builded it. He builded an altar unto the Lord, and took of every clean beast and of every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings on the offer. Let's get this one. This one here is really actually kind of good. So Noah comes out of the ark, goes, oh, thank God, thank you, God, thank you. I'll build you an altar, and then he takes every clean beast and fowl, and he slaughters them and offers them as a burnt offering. So did he kill, half of all the animals he brought, or just one of everything? And which one did he kill, the male or the females? Who knows? That's actually kind of interesting. Immediately upon doing this, he had to build an altar, and he built an altar, and then he decided to start slaughtering and giving. And offering up burnt offerings. And the Lord smelled a sweet savor, and the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake. So this is where God's making his ultimate promise. I'm never going to curse the ground for man's sake again. What can you take from that? Well, he's just not going to curse the ground for man's sake. For the imagination of man's heart, is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more every living thing as I have done. While the earth remained of seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. All right, I need to read this all in one big chunk so we can have fun with it. Okay. And Noah builded an altar unto the Lord, and took of every clean beast and of every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled a sweet savor. And the Lord said in his heart. Now, the Lord only spoke in his heart. How did it get into here on the books if the Lord said in his heart? I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake. For the imagination of a man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more every living thing as I have done. While the earth remaineth seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. So you can look at it sort of like God's like, God, man, that meat smells good. I am just starving. It's about time. All right, well, I got a full belly now. I'm not going to curse you anymore. I'm done cursing. I'm done saying bad things, but the imagination of your heart, it's an evil thing, man. Ever since you were a young lad, it's been an evil thing. Your imaginations are evil, meaning we can come up with some really creepy shit. But that's true. It's absolutely true. Man can really come up with some really creepy shit in his heart. And, of course, while the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter and day shall not... Cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. Okay, let's see if we can separate this out. Where's the commas on here? It's all commas. There's no periods. Okay, while the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, comma, and cold and heat, comma, and summer and winter, period. It is, it's a period, but then the next word starts with a lower case, so they kind of screwed up here. And day and night shall not cease. All right, so basically saying while the earth remains in its current state, hey, everything's going to be copacetic. It's all good. Chapter 9, Genesis. And God blessed Noah and his sons, and he said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. So we have three sons from Noah with their wives, and Noah himself and his wife. So that's 4 couples, and they're all, well, let's pull out one. There's 3 couples that are semi-related. So if he repopulated the planet, we are all related and all from incest, because after Noah's kids have kids, they got to marry their cousins, at the best, and then they got to marry their cousins for the first generation. In the second generation, they're marrying their second cousins and third cousins until we finally got to. So now you can see where people go, marry your cousin. It's okay, you can marry your cousin. It says so in the Bible. You can marry your cousin, and we'll get to that. That's coming up, man. Cousin marrying is really a big thing in here. Sometimes sister and brother marrying is a big thing too. So it doesn't go away. It's really, really quite entertaining. Now you're reading the Bible. It's quite an entertaining book. All right, let's double back here and do this again. Chapter 9, Genesis, verse 1. And God blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, and upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. Even as the green herb have I given you all things. But the flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, you shall not therefore shall ye not eat. Let's back that one up again. That one doesn't. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. Even as the green herb have I given you all these things. But the flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. Flesh, which is the life thereof. That's not really quite clear. The flesh of the life and blood whereof. Maybe they're talking about humans. That could be what they're talking about? All right, well, let's move that one on. But the flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, got to get a cough switch. But the flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. And surely your blood of your lives will I require at the hand of every beast, will I require it. And at the hand of man, at the hand of every man's brother, will I require the life of man. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it. At the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God, God made he man. And you be ye fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth, and multiply therein. And God spake unto Noah and his sons with him, saying, And I behold, I establish my covenant with you, and with your seed after you. Okay, so we got to read all that together as a chunk to make more sense of it, I think. Let's do this again then. But the flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. And surely your blood of your lives will I require at the hand of every beast, will I require it, and at the hand of man, at the hand of every man's brother, will I require the life of man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. In the image of God, man he made, or in the image of God made he man. And you be ye fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth, and multiply therein. And God spake unto Noah and his sons with him, saying, And I, behold, I establish my covenant with you, and with your seed after you. Okay, so that one there has a little bit to kind of unpack and figure out here. So it's talking like you're not to eat the flesh of blood, or flesh of man, is what I'm gathering from that. And surely the blood of your life I will require. At the hand of every beast will I require it. So I want your life at the hand of every beast, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Whosoever sheddeth man's blood, though, anyone who kills another man, he shall be killed by man, because, after all, I made man in my image. So, after all, man is basically God, or he looks like God anyway. And then just go out there and be fruitful and multiply. All right. And behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. So he made this covenant only with Noah, his family, and all the beasts that were in that ark. So any beasts that weren't in the ark, they're SOL. And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood. Neither shall there be any more be a flood to destroy the earth. So in other words, he's saying he's not going to kill everyone by flood using a flood anymore. And God said, This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, This is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. These are the three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. Okay, so the whole earth was overspread because of these three boys. But let's go back to dealing with this bow. Now, everyone says it's a rainbow, but how do you get rainbow? It doesn't specifically say rainbow. It says my bow. His bow could be anything. Maybe he had a really fancy bow for archery because, archery was still pretty popular back then. At least from what we know of the historical knowledge is that they didn't have guns, or supposedly they didn't have guns. I'm of a different viewpoint. They had some sort of gun. But this bow, what is this bow? It doesn't say rainbow. It doesn't say multicolored bow. It just says, my bow in the clouds you shall see. Could be anything. Could be anything. But whenever that bow appears, whatever that bow is, that's God's promise that I'm not going to flood the earth again. But from what I recall, I'm sure we'll get to it eventually. Somewhere down the line, he's going to say, fuck it, I'm going to burn the son of a bitch down. All right. Well, let's move on to the next part here. Now, all the sons came forth. Now, this is an interesting thing. Now, the Bible does a lot of this, I've been noticing. I've actually been reading ahead, so I've got a lot coming. But it mentions specific people and then highlights them or highlights their sons for specific reasons, and then fleshes out the life of that person just a little bit, while ignoring others that probably were just as important, but they didn't quite make the cut when the Bible was written. So, let's take a look at this. And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. Notice they specifically note that Ham is the father of Canaan. And you'll find out more about Canaan later, but Canaan still exists because you probably heard about Canaanites and Canaan and the area of Canaan in the Middle East and whatnot. So this is important to note. And then they just drop it and leave it there, and they don't go any further with it at the moment. These are the 3 sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. So out of these 3 sons, we created, what do we got, almost 8 billion people on the planet? Can't we all trace ourselves back to Shem, Ham, and Japheth? And Noah began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. Now this is interesting here. Okay, Noah began to be an husbandman. The Bible's got some weird writings. It should be a husbandman, but it says began to be an husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. All right, he's got grapes. And he drank of the wine. So he turned his grapes into wine. All right. And was drunken. Now you love this. God destroyed the whole world because of drunken debauchery. And here is Noah getting off the boat going, fuck this. I'm growing some grapes, creating some wine. I'm getting drunk. It's party time. I've done my duty. It's time for a party. All right. And he was drunken. And he was uncovered within his tent. Okay, nothing wrong with that. You know, lots of people wander around their house naked. He's in his tent. He can be naked. And Ham, the father of Canaan. This is important. And notice they mention that again. Ham, the father of Canaan. They mention that again. Saw the nakedness of his father and told his 2 brethren without. All right. Hey, Dad's naked in the tent, man. No, that's not what they did, though. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders. So they stood side by side and put this garment on their shoulders. And they walked backwards. Okay. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. Oh. Ooh, you know, I guess it's kind of creepy to see your parents naked. But, all right, let's cover them up. But, hey, we're not going to look at them. We're just going to, if we line up like this and we walk backwards, we'll just, until we can, you know, his feet, we'll just drop it and run. Yeah, I don't see it, man. It's just not possible. They have to look backwards somehow to see. And Noah awoke from his wine, and he knew what his younger son had done unto him. So how did he know his younger son? Was that Ham as the younger son? Shem, Ham, and Japheth. I guess Ham is the younger son. All right, his younger son had done to him, and he said, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants, and he be unto his brethren." Now look at now. This is actually kind of crappy here. It's like instead of you Ham, What the hell did you do? I curse your sons, Canaan. Instead of you, I curse your son, Canaan. It's like, dick. And he said, blessed be the Lord God of Shem. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't the Lord God of Shem the same Lord God of Canaan? Huh. And Canaan shall be his servant. Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Okay, now this is interesting. You'd probably think by reading it or hearing it, it would be, blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. You might think that Canaan would be the servant of Shem, but that's not the way this actually reads. And he said, blessed be the Lord God of Shem. So Shem's Lord God, whoever the Lord God of Shem is blessed. He's blessing be the Lord God of Shem. And then he's saying Canaan shall be his servant. So Canaan will be the servant of Shem's Lord God. God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Now this one here is interesting because this is specific. So God is going to make Japheth larger. What kind of larger is he going to make him? Okay, so he's going to enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem. So Japheth's going to dwell in the tents of Shem, and then Canaan's going to be Japheth's servant. Okay, and Noah lived after the flood for 350 years. And all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. Okay, Noah's dead after 900 years. All right, so we're done with Noah. That's the end of Noah. That's the end of chapter 9. How we doing? Not bad. 32 minutes to get to chapter 9. All right, we're going to tackle chapter 10, and then we'll call it quits. This one here is just going to be a whole lot of straight reading because chapter 10, Genesis. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah. And you want to try and keep track of this. It's kind of tough at times. Of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Repath, and Togarmah. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, Tarish, Kittim, and Dudanim. By these were the isles of their Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue and after their families in their nations. Now, that's an interesting bit there, that they divided the nations after their tongue. Shouldn't they have all been speaking the same tongue at the time? I understand after their families, but their tongues, they were supposed to be speaking the same tongue. As we get to that later in the Tower of Babel. And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan, and the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havilah, and Sabbath, and Ramah, and Sabtachah, and the sons of Ra'amah, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. Cush begat Nimrod. Hey, Nimrod's an actual name of a son in the Bible. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. So Nimrod began to be a mighty one. Nimrod. So why is Nimrod used as something like, you're a Nimrod, dude? So Nimrod was actually a mighty one in the Bible. Okay. And he was a mighty hunter. So Nimrod was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. So Nimrod was a mighty hunter. Remember that. Nimrod is not a detriment. Nimrod was a mighty hunter before the Lord. So it's actually a compliment if someone calls you a Nimrod. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel. So Nimrod created Babel. And Erech and Akkad, and Calith, and the land of Shinar. Out of that land went forth Ashur, and builded Nineveh, and the city Reboth, and Calah, and Resin between Nineveh and Calah, the same is a great city. And Mizraim begot Ludim, and Anamim, and Lehabim, and Naphthin, and Pathrushim, and Kastulim, and out of whom came Philistim, not Philistine, Philistim, and Caphtorim, and Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and Girgasite, and the Hivite, and the Akite, and the Sinite, and the Ardavite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamalite, and afterwards were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as thou comest to Gerar, unto Gaza, and thou goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah, and Adamah and Zeboim, even unto Lasha. These are the sons of Ham, after their families, after their tongues, and their countries, and their nations. So all of that was Ham's kids. Wow. He created quite a bit. Unto Shem also the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, and the elder, even to him were children born. Okay, so unto Shem also the father of all the children of Eber, and the brother of Japheth, the elder, even to him children were born. It's like, yeah, he had kids, whatever. The children of Shem, Elam, and Ashur, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. And the children of Aram, Uz, and Hol, and Gether, and Mash. And Arpaxad begat Shalah, and Shalah begat Eber, and unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. And Joktan begat Alamovdad, and Shelep, and Hazar Maveth, and Jerah, and Hodaram, and Ozal, and Diklah, and Obal, and Albimal, and Sheba, and Opir, and Havilah, and Jobab, and these were the sons of Joktan. Whew. It is really hard to keep them straight sometimes. It really is. And their dwelling was from Misha, and thou goest into Sephar, a mount of the east. These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations. These are the families of the sons of Noah, after their generations, in their nations, and these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. Wow, that's a lot of kids. Party time, party central. All right. And what's interesting is we were talking about, they say after their tongues and after their families and whatnot. And in chapter 11, we're going to give the first one, but we'll come back to it next time. Chapter 11, and the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Yeah. So this is where we're going to get into the Tower of Babel. And a few more readings, and wow, it's like there's a whole lot of really interesting stuff going on. And for those that may or may not tune in, the Sunday morning service is going to, I'm going to do the occasional evening service here, just because I'm really enjoying reading this book, and I want to read it a little faster. At this rate here of reading 2 chapters a week, it'll take forever. So I'm just going to start reading random times, but we're still going to have our usual Sunday morning service, and it may evolve from just reading the Bible to discussing the readings of the previous week. in the various time slots I've done them. So you might want to tune in. It'll be very entertaining. It's always entertaining to me. And I know one day this is going to be a popular channel just because people can't stay away from this stuff. Till next time, this is the Rogue from the Rogues Tavern, taking it out. And if you want to, you can support the show by...
We just need cash.
I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
Not sure where to send it to yet, but get 1,000 subscribers, you can send it here to YouTube. All right. We're off.
Allahu Akbar.